Well, while I was in Israel, I spent time with my dear friend Yael Eckstein, the president and CEO of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Now, you hear a lot about the organization here on TBN, but this was a historic moment when I got to see the vital importance of what they do during a time of genuine crisis, a war threatening Israel's existence. I recorded an interview with her in Tel Aviv, and she said some things that all supporters of Israel need to hear. Here's that conversation. Yael, you have been incredibly involved with the organization, International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, distributing assistance to people since October the 7th. Tell us about some of the things that the fellowship has been able to do.
Well, the fellowship was on the ground as terrorists were still roaming. We were bringing food to the elderly. We were helping when people were freed from their bomb shelters and their loved ones were taken hostage or killed. We were bringing them food and shoes because all of their belongings were destroyed. And so the needs have changed, but we've continued to be on the ground. For example, in Sderot, you might have been there during this trip, there are 500 elderly who stayed behind, who said we would rather die in our homes than live as refugees. And so there's no supermarkets open, there's no neighbors, there's no one to take care of them. So the fellowship goes every week, brings them food, brings them volunteers to sit with them, to visit them, to tell them there are Christians in America who love you, you're not alone. And to hear that message as rockets are falling, as your city's been evacuated, as your loved ones have been killed or kidnapped, the fact that Christians abroad are with them, I just think of God with us within our despair, within our sadness, and it's this message of hope that you're not alone.
I think since October the 7th, more people have realized the extraordinary work you do, the largest relief organization in all of the state of Israel. But the needs have increased dramatically since then. You're even supplying things that is not typical. I mean, it's normally food and clothing and basic things. Bulletproof vests.
Yeah, I never thought, Governor Huckabee, that we'd get to a place where we would say these bulletproof vests are the difference between life or death for the civilian first responders. And what we saw was on the northern border, where every single day there are anti-tank missiles being launched at people and at cities, and rockets coming over the border. And if, God forbid, it gets worse, we could have 200,000 rockets in one day launched at Israel. And on the southern border, where you were there, you feel the ground shaking, and the civilian first responders didn't have bulletproof vests, and people were dying. And so we went and we distributed over 5,000 bulletproof vests to civilian first responders on the northern border, on the southern border, in Judea and Samaria, and it's already saved dozens of lives in a direct way.
Are you afraid personally? I mean, you live here, your family's here, you have children here. You're all over the country in some of the most challenging situations. You hear bombs going off in the background, missiles flying over. On a personal level, that's got to be stressful to you and to your family to live with this threat every single day.
I don't know how people live without faith. And it's a time where I've held on to God and God's calling on my life more than ever before. And so I think when you have God on your life and you feel a calling for yourself, for your family, for your people, that calling and that faith is louder than the fear. So I can't say I've never been scared, but I can say that God has never abandoned me.
What can Christians in America do to help our friends in Israel? Because I believe Christians in America are praying for Israel. They're concerned. They want to be helpful. They want to make sure that the people of Israel know we stand with them. What can we do?
The fact that we know that Christians want to stand with us, that they are standing with us, that they're praying for us, that they're defending us on every front is something that's historic and biblical and prophetic and new. We've all learned about the Oskar Schindlers and the Ten Booms. And we always say, if we were in the Holocaust, would we have done that? Would there be, how many Christians would there be now? During the easy times, Christians are standing with us. What about when it gets hard? Are they going to turn their back on us? And what we've seen in Israel is the opposite. That as times get hard, as it's even threatening sometimes to stand with Israel, our Christian friends have done more to be vocal. I was speaking to a mutual friend, Penny Nance.
Yes.
And she said to me, Elle, I sent out a note to all of my people on campuses and said, go to the Israel rally, stand with the Jews. And they all wrote back, there are no rallies. They're too scared, the Jews on campus. She said, so then the Christians need to do the Israel rallies and let the Jews join if they want. And for me, that summarizes it. Between the food and the thousands of meals that the fellowship is distributing every day to people in need, the bulletproof vests that are saving lives, the Christians who are saying the Jewish community is too scared right now, we're going to lead it. What the Christian community can do for Israel is to continue to stand for Israel, which isn't a given, to pray for Israel. And whether it's $5 or $25, in a tangible way to bless Israel. Because that $5 and $25, when put together, transforms into thousands of Holocaust survivors getting food. So I think the Christian community just has to continue staying strong because it's the same enemy that we're facing. And the more the Christian community stands for Israel, I believe the stronger the Christian community will be.
I believe that as well, and we do stand with you and pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God bless you, my friend.
We will never forget it, Governor.
Thank you.
I want you to know that we will never forget it.
Thank you. If you'd like to learn more about the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, and if you'd like to learn how you can help them, help the people of Israel during this dark time of greatest need, visit Huckabee.tv. We have a direct link to them. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you will now. The button is just below this video, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on those, YouTube will reluctantly start letting you know when we've got a new video uploaded.